Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another rousing round of the Lotus League. We're about to get started in a moment. We finally have both teams assembled. We have the picks squared away. We have the map. We're just waiting for the go-ahead to start. All right. Looks like we're ready to begin. This is going to be experimental versus actual trash. Experimentals are purple team. Actual trash is our orange team. Bans are now getting underway, and as you know, we got to start off with a Mega Charizard Y ban. This Pokemon has some nerfs from the last patch, mostly due to speed and ultimate duration, but it's still a very powerful mod, and people are still banning it. Also, another mod that's been flying under the radar for a past couple of few patches is also Mimikyu. I do agree with this ban. Mimikyu can move in and out between targets very freely and across the map and do a lot of damage. It has the bound property on its ultimate. Another interesting choice is Cerulege. Cerulege has been coming into its own again due to its recent buffs. Not in the last patch, but the one before. It does good damage, has new cooldowns on its Phantom Force, and is hard to put down. Okay, now this is an actual interesting one. We have a Surfetched ban. I haven't really seen anyone ban that outside of Ladder when the mod first was released. It did have more buffs on its Fury Cutter moveset as well as Detect. But I don't know if it's ban worthy. This might be a targeted pick. Actual Trash is going to open up with the Umbreon as their first pick. Umbreon is still a wonderful defender, but I see it more as a support through the Wish and perhaps Snarl moveset. Both movesets are support focused. On the other side, Experimental is going to have Vaporeon along with a Mega Lucario. Both are strong picks. Vaporeon can have either a defender style moveset or a support style moveset with Wish and Muddy Water. And Mega Lucario is a 1v1 gremlin. If it has to fight one other mon, it's probably going to win it. And it loves ripping through objectives and securing it as well. That's going to be tough to contend with. On the flip side, we got Machampion, the Machamp. If this is a submission Machamp, then it could peer through and just pick a target to suplex it down to the ground. That's going to be annoying to contend with. On the other side, we have the recently buffed in this last patch, we have Cramorant. I don't know if the bug was fixed or not, as Cramorant legal in this head here. However, oh yeah, it is. Cram is banned. I was about to say. I believe the bans right now is Cramorant and Zapdos for this last game this week. Those Zapdos should be legal in the upcoming games later this week, since it's the beginning of the new week. Gonna have to redo this one. Cramorant is illegal. So there is that. Yes, we have to redo it. Now, in retrospect, I wish there was a undo or reset button or end match from the final preparation screen, but I actually have to wait for it to load up. That's a little annoying. Sit tight. We're gonna get this all squared out, and then we can begin the match proper with a redraft. Why isn't the battle ending? That is weird. I have to resume it. This game's weird. Well, since they all know what they want to pick, this should be a very fast draft. Very, very quick. So yeah, Cramorant and Zapdos is banned. Zapdos due to just being released. Cramorant due to a bug it is currently have with its moveset. Alright, back to these same drafts as before. All right, looks like Cramorant was a mistake for experimental. The actual pick that they wanted was Espeon. All right, let's finally get this started. We're gonna have a Puron and Espeon fighting against Umbreon and, oh man, right at the bottom. Espeon getting that first secure, Puron getting that second secure. Back at the top, we got Eldegoss and Machamp. Machamp getting some stacks in as Machop. Successfully was able to score. Was gonna be able to get these Zapdos for free. Both teams return to neutral. Gonna have Cinderace finishing with the jungle for the first rotation, heading towards the top. And Combusken not too far behind. Combusken's moving in a fashion that gates some vision. It has been spotted by the enemy team. Combusken's trying to get ready for a Blaze Kick farm pull. No, it's actually going for the kill over there on Lucario. It did take some entry damage there, but we have a Machoke already. There is a suplex sitting with the eject. Down goes Cinderace and followed by a Fable. Wait, not yet. Lucario's back to bail her out. But there's the Blaze Kick and there's another KO Lucario. 20 points in for Machoke. Gonna get those stacks in. And it's already a problem here at top. Both physical attackers are getting their stacks in. This could spell trouble for Experimental. Back at the bottom, we have Rhydon and we have Umbreon. Trying to steer what they can. Looks like they're winning the exchange down here level-wise. About 8 minutes in. Regidrago is about to spawn in. Experimental is all over that. They have a Blaziken for the overheat secure. They just have to whittle down the health. Here comes a Muddy Water from Vaporeon, and Cinderace is here on the scene, but a bit too late. There's the overheat secure. Experimental's having control over the center area. Back at the top, we got Machoke getting another super slam submission down to Lucario. Lucario's taking way too much damage. This Machoke is level 8, on his way to level 9. 720 bees are about to spawn. This should be a Machamp here momentarily. This Machoke is on very good pacing here. You want to be a Machamp as soon as possible. He's gonna get it before the 7-minute mark. He's not even the jungler. Might as well be now. This is gonna be the man in charge. Meanwhile, at the bottom, we got more great entry damage here from a Rhydon, but it's all distraction. We got Cinderace here trying to rip the objective as fast as he can. There is the Espeon secure. Experimental's gonna apply some pressure here at bottom. They're gonna have to. There's just a Machamp who managed to secure the Regieleki over up top, and that's not enough helping hands to deal with this here. Machamp's gonna be looking for it to use its Unite move and steal the juggle from Experimental and ask Champ. Here comes Big Bam Machamp, gauging his options. He's gonna choose to fight another day at towards the bottom. All right, both teams kind of returned to neutral here. No more pressure was being applied towards the top. You know, Machamp could have pulled the trigger. I believe he was able. He alone was enough to actually get that objective to go in, but he chooses to hold that Unite. Perhaps against just the enemy jungler, which would be Cinderace. He also should have all his stacks as well. Both teams not really making a move yet towards the bottom pad. They both have spawn that they can equally fight for. Wait, hold on. Once this towards the top, we're gonna have a 2v2 here. Two fighting types. Blaziken and Machamp. Champ is lying in wait. There's his opportunity. There's a submission. It was bait here. They baited out the Lucario ult. Down goes Lucario. With the Blaze? Sorry, with the Pyro Ball getting major damage into that bush. This Cinderace is not letting up, but he's going to have to back up due to the Charge Beam Miraidon. And it goes down to the Thunder from Miraidon. Good pickup. There's another suplex to Machamp. And there's that knee look. That Vaporeon is going nowhere. Miraidon is now ulting. Justice rains from above. That is major damage. The last hit of that meteor shower does a pop-up. Not enough follow-up though. Machamp is actually starting to rip the objective. Not the fastest ripper. And Miraidon goes down for that insolence. There's still a Machamp ball waiting to be used. There it is. KO. Double KO on both attackers. In exchange for Machamp. That is still very good value. Machamp holding onto its level lead. Here comes Lucario trying to get a stack in. He uses the Invulnerable Prince to preserve its health. But can't preserve it anymore. It might go down here. There's the Mega Lucario ult, but it gets... Oh, Blaziken gets waxed. Lucario, its favorite part, ripping objectives. Don't quite stop it here. Close combat, power punch. Close combat, power punch. Secure from Machamp. Cross chop. Down goes Eldegoss. We still got this. Down goes Machamp too. Double KO from the Mega Lucario, and it goes down in retaliation. But Cinderace is here for the cleanup. KO on the Umbreon. It's gonna be hard to create any more pressure with this Miraidon doing a lot of entry damage with Charge Beam. Both teams return to neutral here. Back at the center, we got Pyro Cinderace getting some extra value here on the bees. Gonna give up on that. Looking to make a back at towards top, but it is being protected by the Machamp here. Coming in with the Suplex City, down goes Cinderace. You guys know the rules. On submission, Machamp marks someone for death almost every time. Machamp at level 13. Why is this important? Well, Machamp is running Cross Chop. Level 13, Cross Chop is powered up. It is at Cross Chop Plus, which also means he gets to do more basic attacks to increase his fighting power. The more basic attacks he lands at level 13, the more Cross Chop stacks he encounters, increasing his attack by 3 for each attack. Another Mega Lucario all at the 230 mark. He really wants his Regieleki. That is an interesting pull here. He won't have Mega Lucario at the 2-minute mark, though. That is an interesting choice. Uh-oh, Suplex City. Someone's been marked for death, and this time it is Vaporeon. Support. All right, there's that Charge Beam. Another submission. Been deactivated. There's Espeon trying to get a kill on the Machamp, and it does. Eldegoss and Machamp are done. This is now a 4v3. But look at all that entry damage from Miraidon. Experimental with its eye on the prize. They got a Lucario on the objective. There's the Milook, but it can't really do much. There's the Charge Beam. Overheat secure. Oh, secured by Espeon. How'd it do that? Interesting. The champ is back. There's no Mega Lucario ult. That should be a Dunzo Lucario here. Yep, there it goes. Up for champ ult. Not enough damage though. But Miraidon's gonna be able to pick that up. Down goes Eldegoss. We have Actual Trash fighting gap back appropriately. If they get this score here, they're pretty much gonna win this set here. Uh-oh. Yep, they got the lead now. 45 seconds. And it's only getting worse. There's another suplex. Someone else is marked for death. And it is Espeon. Mega Lucario is back. If Actual Trash just plays defense here, they're going to win this game 1. They just have to play defense for about 15 more seconds. There's that knee look. Uh-oh, that's just using up time. All right. Because Experimental has to score, Mariah's going to go for a cheeky back half. No, no. You just had to play defense, mate. That's going to cost you again. Actually didn't. 302 to 309. That is a very close call. But Actual Trash secures game 1. MVP here is the mod champion. 6 KOs, 10 assists, 139 points scored, 85 overall rating. This was a Machamp at the 7-minute mark. This was Machamp's game to win, and when it did. Check out the battle data. Oh, we got a standout number here. 154,000 damage. Secured on Miraidon. It had a lot of opportunities. It had a Clefable. It had a Vaporeon. It had a lot of bulky frontline. They sustained some damage there. Let's see if we can carry this momentum onto game 2. A bit of a misplay here for Experimental. They already had the point lead and they were just trying to force a score on bottom pad. They could have spread out a little bit more. There was a top pad to try to attempt the score in. They only needed 1, or just to play defense. They were ahead at that point in time. All right, moving on to game 2 here. It looks like Experimental would like the second pick and to remain on the Kyogre map. Both teams are ready, so we're gonna get started here. And please, no Cramorant. Looks like this time around, Actual Trash is going to elect to ban the Mega Lucario. It was a bit of an issue there. Once again, Mega Lucario could just pick who wants to KO. That Mega, it has the raw firepower to just 1v anybody who wants in the game. So they're going to want to eliminate that. Another interesting ban here. We got a ban on the Mega Gyarados. It hasn't shown up yet, but they just want to get it off the board, as well as Umbreon. Those mean looks were annoying to deal with, so they just don't want to deal with it. Well, now that Surfetch isn't banned, we're going to be able to see it here on Actual Trash. Rixor's has this Mon ready. And a new Pokemon showing up once again, this time on Experimental. They're going to be playing Meowth. Very powerful speedster. It just wants to brawl and fight and brawl. Once it gets in, it stays in. Also new is going to be Buzzwole and Mammothwine. This is looking to be a very brawl-heavy frontline team Experimental is cooking up with. How will Experimental rebuttal? They're going to employ some utility here. It's going to be an Aegislash on Sword and Shield mode. And there's going to be a Slowbro, changing the tempo of the gameplay in the front line. Those are a lot of physical attackers, so I'd imagine Gold would be a good choice here. Gold from Slowbro weakens the attack power of mons it's going up against that are hit by the Scald. Wouldn't be a bad choice. Rounding out this front-heavy team, we have Eldegoss and Pikachu. Providing sustain and some much-needed range. And stun power. Last pick over for experimental is going to be the Decidueye. The most range in this entire lobby if it runs Snipe Shot. Not a bad idea. Though if it runs Raging Leaf, it's going to have a lot of attack power in itself. Let's see what it chooses to do. About 20 more seconds for the preparations. Everyone's just getting their builds ready. It's also nice to see that Vanguard build is being ran across several different Pokemon. We have one for Mamo, and another two for Aegislash and Vaporeon. These are good contenders. The way this item works is whenever a powerful hindrance is applied, aka a stun, the Pokemon will heal about 10% of its HP back, provided the item's at least level 20. The item does go on a 5-second cooldown in between though, but that's plenty of time to work with. Sorry about that. We're back. We're gonna have Vaporeon and Meowth fight for the top lane. Pretty much even in terms of secures here, though a slight edge for Meowth and Vaporeon. We're getting a lot of damage in, but that supporter's keeping them in the fight a lot longer than normal. When one team has a supporter, the other team typically should have one to match, and that's the role Vaporeon's gonna have to kind of cover for, but it's not a Vaporeon yet. They have Surf Fetch in position. If it's running Fury Cutters, it's going to be able to fry that farm instantly. It's going in for the attack, and it is running Fury Cutter. Down goes Meowth. Fury Cutter hits 7 times, and upon the 7th hit, it actually employs a stun. Back at the bottom, we got Pikachu and Mamo. That is a scary lane. They're both about to reach level 5. They just need one more piece of farm. There it is. The Electro Ball secure. And they're going to be able to be aggressive here. Yep. They've pushed out the defenders down here. And now they can start securing more farm. Good stuff to experiment. Sorry, good stuff to actual crash. Back here at the center, Regidrago is about to spawn. Decidueye is on the scene at level 7. But it's going to elect to help out up top. Fetch finishing up its jungle rotation. A play is being made for top goal. Experimental's fighting here. Almost all hands on deck here. We're going to leave Pikachu at the bottom to score a 30. There's that slam from... Oh, here comes Mammal. Creating space for the team. Eldegoss gets sniped out by Decidueye. There's a super slam from... Uh-oh, there's another one. Down he goes. Another snipe from Decidueye. 2 KOs from this Mammal, putting in a lot of work here. But, yep, that's the 3-piece from Decidueye. But Eldegoss is back for its revenge. It was a bit overambitious to try to get a score in. The spawn timers are really low at this phase of the game. But you see it here, folks. This range advantage does matter here for Experimental. Knife Toss is going to be a problem. And they don't have a Pokemon that quite died in that Decidueye. Not unless you're using Mammal ult or Surfetch ult to get in there. That's going to be the key interaction here. How well can they deal with this Decidueye? Back at the bottom, Actual Trash was able to get the free secure on Regieleki and pop bottom pad. That's gonna be a free score in 54 points. Well, since they're gonna be down there doing their thing, Experimental's gonna be at the top doing their own thing, breaking the top pad, keeping the point lead competitive. Oh, Experimental's not really gonna have a jungle to get back to. Pikachu should, yep, there it is. Pikachu should ult that Decidueye. Down it goes. Decidueye didn't have an escort there. That was a bit of a mistake. Uh-oh, Aegislash whipping the ult. Yep, this Mambo should go down here. That's just too much pressure. It's gonna actually ult here. You're gonna ult. We're just gonna go for your damage backline. You should go down shortly after that. Yep, get back here. Wait, no. Telekinesis didn't get pulled back in. There goes the Mamoswine. There is the Surfetch ult. Nice up from the Decidueye. Surfetch is taking a lot of damage. It's detected sustaining it, but Meowth finishes up. There's the Super Slam from Buswell, but it's gonna get sloped by Slowbro. 316 points for Vaporeon. Vaporeon has already used its ult, creating a muddy water space so Slowbro can ult here. There's the Volt Tackle from Pikachu, getting damage in. Down goes Aegislash in his own Flux Zone. Or in their Flux Zone, sorry. Buzzwole is back and it is pissed. Well, looks like Active Trap's gonna play for Regieleki again. They have created a space for it. Meowth with the Regidrago secure. No one was there quite in time. Surfetch is very good at securing farming objectives, or at least ripping through them. Look at all that damage from that Fury Swipes. Sorry, from Fury Cutter. That's a sharp leak. Yeah, Mammoth started creating more space with the Ice Fang. We have Pikachu ulting in, getting a lot of damage on this Slowbro. He's gonna have to surf away. Meowth with the off angle, trying to getting a pick here. Gonna have to run away with the next speed. That's the item enrolled. There is the Aegislash ult going down once again, but it's gonna get KO'd by an Ice Fang. The Decidueye ulting in, followed by the Vaporeon ult. That's a lot of damage here. They're gonna have to back off. Meowth getting a pick on the Surfetch, but oh, Mammoth got a huge Ice Fang on the Decidueye. He's always gonna have the eject button to sustain itself. That is a solid bottom gold defense. Regieleki is gone now. But not without sacrifice. Actual Trash got some good levels out of that exchange. We have a level 12 Mamoswine, and he's on pace for 13. You do not want to see a level 13 Mamoswine. That thing will not be KO'd. And the other's playing a dangerous game here. Another Ice Fang should proc. There it is, but it gets stuffed out. Right? There it is. KO on a Meowth. There's another snipe shot. Surfetch gets tagged. 40 seconds left on the clock till the Kyogre fight once again. Buswell's approaching 14. That is very good pace. From level 13 onwards for any Pokemon, their stats each get a spike. You just get that much more attack, defense, special defense, anything you need. Everything gets amplified at this point. We have Buzzwole playing an off angle towards the top, providing vision for the team. Let's see what Buzzwole can find and relay to the rest of his team. Playing an even more aggressive angle. I don't know if Decidueye knows where Buzzwole is. That's gonna be a scary problem. There's that high horsepower in, going in for Decidueye, but there's no follow-up. Buzzwole's a little too slow there. PG goes down as in rebuttal, but there's a Slowbro, but that's no follow-up. It's not enough. Surfetch is gonna be able to live from that. Oh, it gets KO'd by Aegislash. Buzzwole is next on the chopping block. We have Mamoswine making such a good entryway Such a good entry, but it's not enough follow-up. Oh, he's taking all those bullets. Need more bullets. Need more bullets. Electro Ball? No! You pointed Electro Ball at the wrong spot. Pikachu could have secured it, but instead it was Aegis Slash. We have Experimental here, taking the objective and getting a score in. And they're not going to stop there. They have the Kyogre debuff for Actual Trash. That means that goal is defenseless. No health, no shields. It's just a space on the board now. Well, there's a KO from Slowbro. And a KO from Meow as the rebuttal. The gap keeps widening, and the buff is now finished for Kyogre. But I believe it's too late. Experimental's taking the W here on game 2. Unfortunate there for Actual Trash. The Mammoth White had a beautiful engage towards that back line. Buswell was just slow on the follow-up. That could have cracked that matchup. That final fight open on its side, onto its head. Tough break. But that means we got a competitive set here. Good stuff to Experimental, taking game 2. Final score is 475 to 244. Meow, the protagonist, is the MVP. 147 points scored, 9 KOs, 7 assists, 87 overall MVP rating. And has over 70k damage to boot. Good stuff there. Let's see if we can carry this momentum over into game 3. All right, Groudon will be the map. It looks like they're gonna want first pick. Actual Trash will have first pick, and they've elected for the Groudon map. Just waiting for the go-ahead, and then we can start. All right, back to the banning phase. Looks like the same bans as usual. They don't want to give... Actual Trash doesn't want to give Experimental access to the Surf Edge, but I don't really see Surf Edge in that light where like it needs to be banned or counterpicked. The mod is what it is. But what do I know? One ban that is always worthy is Mega Lucario and Mega Gyarados. They're still powerful mons. We're First pick is going back to actual trash, and they're gonna take the Vaporeon pick this time around. They've recognized that Experimental's been leaning really hard on Vaporeon to provide space and healing, and they're just gonna take that off the board. Let's see how Experimental adapts. They're going to take a Miraidon and Crustle pick. That's a very powerful pair. Crustle on Rock Tomb can steal off exits, can create choke points, and we have Miraidon with Charge Beam following suit, capitalizing off of that panic, capitalizing off of that lack of space that they now have. Back to business over here for Actual Trash. They're going to once again be picking Machamp and Mamoswine. The Mamoswine from last game played actually very well. We just need his teammates to follow suit faster on what the plays that this Mamoswine is creating. I can't wait to see more from this Mamo. Also, once again, we have the Meowth here, but this time accompanied by a Clefable. Hopefully the gravity from this Clefable can slow down the dive that Actual Trash is employing. There's a lot of dive there. There's Machamp. Granted, none of what he's doing is considered a dash, I don't believe. And the Mamoswine with high horsepower. Last two picks are going to be Sterilege and Cinderace for Actual Trash. Cinderace is a wonderful A-Presser. And that ult from Sterilege can be so devastating if not cleansed or dodged. Over at Experimental, they're going to be experimenting with Greninja. Greninja is an attacker that's an ADC that has speedster-like qualities, so it can finish off Mons if given the chance. Alright, going into game 3, the set count is 1 up. Both teams have a dub under their belt. Let's see who'll get the next one. Alright. Have Miraidon activating its passive, giving a damage boost toward the Crustle and itself. But they're getting pushed back to the A-push from Cinderace. At the top, they got Vaporeon, party move with Machop. Trying to get the steer here. Their juggle is already here, and down goes Vaporeon. Yep, this top lane has a lot of firepower. And Greninja and Meow. Terra Legend's going to have to play this very carefully. Oh, beautiful entry damage from Machop here. Meow should go down. Machop trying to get some a score in, but failed. Ninja's taking a lot of damage. He's going to have to back off and concede the farm here to Vaporeon. At the bottom. Russell's level 5. That means they're doing well down here. We're going to need this Mammoth to evolve pretty soon. They are waiting for the farm. Farm has appeared. Right on time. There's the evolution. Back at the top, we have the Muddy Water on the Meow, creating space for this Machop. become on the choke. Greninja is here, taking some extra damage from this Vaporeon. Village is here to back it up. Oh, down goes Greninja. Third stack suplex I like to see. Meowth is on the chopping block here. Down goes Meowth. And another suplex for Greninja. Someone was ripping Draggy Draga. I believe it was the Sailage. He came back to finish it here. Towards the bottom lane. The jungler's gonna get a pickup on the Mambo here. Cinderace can't compete with all those mons. All three of them. They're gonna get the farm here. But that just means Actual Trash has dominance over at the top lane. Stops at level 7 by the 7-minute mark. He's on normal pace here. He's gonna become a Machamp very soon. Another KO on the Greninja. This Sailage is on the mark. This is here on Regieleki and is walking as the 6th man of the team for Actual Trash towards the bottom pad. Only 40 has been scored thus far, and they're gonna want to get rid of this Regieleki. They don't like it very much, and is going down fast. But back at the top, we got the 4-armed man, Machampion, coming down to assert his dominance. It's about to be dropped. Experimental's gonna have to be careful. There's a boomstick lying in wait in the flanking position. And with the submission to hit a Shadow Clone. There's the heel turn. Offense is now beginning for Experimental. Marino got overzealous here, and Cinderace capitalized, and also capitalized off the Crustle. But that's that submission, and Machamp is back with a clapback, and it didn't use its ult. It can use his weapon. It can use his ult to push forward into the bottom pad, but it looks like it's going too far. I would like to point out that no pad has been broken yet. Score is 116 to 107. Both teams appear to be evenly matched. And as I say that, down goes the bottom pad, but up, down goes top pad. The balance has not been broken. The score reflects this. The champ is heading down, wishing somebody would. It looks like it's gonna get this score in. A quick 39. A whiff Greninja ult. Too slow on the trigger there. Back towards the bomb. There is the Sailage ult. Major damage on Miraidon and Clefable here. Miraidon's gonna have to ult to try to get some value back. With that last hit on the ult on the Phantom forcing Sailage. There's that Cinderace secure with the ult. Vaporeon with the engage. There's the Champion ult. Couldn't quite KO the Greninja there. Was missing some damage. Down goes Crustle. Bottom pad is now destroyed. Actual Trash actually extends their lead. Score is 131 to 244. Big lead. Let's see if they can extend it. Actual Trash has very good map control over here. Due to Vaporeon's vision, they can surmise that a bulk of the members from Experimentals towards the top. They are moving in pursuit. And Champ has marked me out for death. There's the Greninja ult, but look at all those, look at those low health bars. Meowth was too low to try to get any follow-up, and when it came in, it got KO'd swiftly. There's the suplex. Out goes Greninja. This is gonna be an ace. It is looking like it. And an ace. Down goes Experimental. 4 KOs for just a Feral Edge. Unfortunate for Experimental. They got a lot of good entry damage from just the Greninja. And typically you have Meowth taking out weak opponents, but Meowth started the engage with the submission from the Machamp, and it was just too low to follow up. All right, 20 seconds till Groudon appears. Teams are recuperating resources, getting their levels back, healing, getting ult charge. The champ is in an aggressive position, chooses not to suplex the Clefable. The damage is not quite there from the team yet for that kind of play. It is baiting out an option here. We have Ceruledge has been caught red-handed and trying to get a sneaky off angle. He's gonna have to give up playing from that side, or will he come back in? Murata has vision on him. There's the Rock Tomb X-Scissor combo. There is, the Meowth Ball getting major damage in. Here comes the Crustle ult coming in here. Meowth getting 2 picks from the back. I didn't even see that. Water Shuriken getting major damage on the Mamoswine. Meowth's going for that cap, but he won't be able to get it. It's actually bait here. Ellis is heading to the top. I do believe with Experimental trying to rip this objective here. There is the Miraidon secure with Electro Drift. Just having Machamp here. Machamp still has ult, but he's going to have to let that top pad go. He's regrouping his team. They're technically still in the lead. They just have to play more defense and get this buff back. The Fable has been burnt by Ceruledge, and that score's just not happening. Meowth gets 100 points in at the bottom. Astral Trash has a Groudon buff, and it's on the correct mon. It's on Cinderace. The one mon that can fully utilize his buff. That's enough advantage to push with. If they can just get this score in of at least 100 points, they can win this game. Cinderace, you just gotta start. You have to hard hitting him, buddy. That's the wrong opponents. Forget the farm. What are the points? That's enough. They get in literally the last second.
I legit thought he was not gonna get that. I was like, you got 0.2 seconds to score.
Well, that's the thing. The more people that stand on the pad, the faster the score.
Yeah, I was like, bro, sit on the pad. What are you doing?
But it wasn't quite enough. Experimental. 431 points scored versus the 344. They are the winners of this game. Set is 2-1. I have to tell these guys it's 3 out of 5 before they forget.
Yeah, because it keeps saying GG's and I'm like, it's not done yet. Specify. Quick.
It's just the 5, don't leave. Let's check out these stats here. We have the protagonist, the MVP once again. Yeah, I can see it. 238 points scored. They're the reason why they won. 3 KOs, 2 assists. 78 overall rating. But I would like to point out that we have Tally with 8 KOs and 127 damage dealt. That's let's not get that twisted. That's how you win games. But that's scoring is also how you win games. They're both the MVP in my heart. All right, game 3 is done and dealt with. It is in the past. We're moving on to game 4. Looks like this set is going the distance. Experimental is the set leader, 2-1. Let's see how Actual Trash responds to this. This has been an insanely competitive set so far. You love to see it. Checking all of these emotes in the chat. They can't believe it either. Planning for the map and the pick selection. But it looks like someone on experimental needs a moment here. Checking out the chat here real quick. That's how I think their anxiety is running in VC right now. Yep, I totally believe it. I actually thought that Actual Trash won that last game there. They got that last minute score in from Cinderace, that last second score in, but it wasn't enough. Meowth created such a point gap that it didn't matter. I'm interested to see if they're gonna ban, if Actual Trash is going to be banning Meowth this game. Very curious. Though Actual Trash has been doing totally fine in the team fights. No matter who's on board, they've been adapting very well. And it shows due to how competitive the set is. Both teams are actually, in fact, are adapting very well to each other and what they're doing. So it's just gonna come down to who's the more skilled team. Not an obvious answer. We're going to take a brief few minute break here. I have to make an adjustment here on the stream, so stay tuned. All right. Set count is 2-1. Experimental. They just need one more game to win the set. Experimental is electing to ban Blastoise here. Haven't seen that mon in a while. Makes sense. I'm still gonna ban Mega Gyarados. Actual Trash. They've been adapting well all set, and if they stick to the script, they're gonna adapt once again. And the mon that's gonna show that adaptation will be Vaporeon. They're gonna snag it once again. Checking out the chat here, everyone seems to be excited. We got Walt Disney. Welcome back, man. It looks like you took an arrow to the knee. Well, you're here now, and that's what's important. We're gonna have Mimikyu this time around. Mimikyu's not been banned in a while, and it's time for it to be revealed. They don't need to control him, they just need to unleash him. Counteract that pick, they have chosen Clefable on their side this time around. Let's see how the Moonlight and Gravity combo works well for Actual Trash. We have Jade sticking to Miraidon this time around. Assisted by Blissey here. Safeguard, perhaps? Gonna have to find out. All in all, these have been pretty tame picks. Last two picks are gonna go over to Actual Trash. They're experimenting with new mons. They're gonna lock in Raichu, and they're gonna lock in Talonflame. Last pick here going to Tally. It is going to be Glaceon, a very good kiter. With the Ice School Spears, it can be a problem. That passive of that Eevee is going to have to be proc before Machamp can even suplex it. A lot of preparations are going down over here. About 10 more seconds. Everyone has their items in place. Everyone has chosen their mons. Let's see how this game 4 works. Can't wait to be pleasantly surprised. I will say that Experimental has absolutely passed the damage check between Glaceon and Miraidon. Right, match is underway. We got Miraidon and Crustle, a dynamic duel, going against Raichu and Vaporeon. Raichu being the aggressor here, charging his way towards the center, but it got out secured by Miraidon. Miraidon just missing that secure on that farm. Raichu doing a good job of moving that farm towards the bush so you couldn't have vision on it. That towards the top. We got Machop and Clefairy versus Mimikyu and Ansem. They're a little far behind in terms of securing farm, but that could change since the jungler and Glaceon has arrived. Level 5 is elected to get all the buffs. Talonflame waiting, doesn't have quite the information it needs to move up just yet. But Choke has done a wonderful job of securing the farm there. Oh man, a jungler for just a Mimikyu. That's not a favorable trade here. But things have stabilized towards the top lane. Back at the bottom, they have Miraidon getting all the farm it can, securing them, and his winning. That Pikachu's not a Raichu just yet. Major damage on the Vaporeon. Russell actually could have gotten the KO on Vaporeon had it elected to disengage the Rock Tomb. When the Rock Tomb is disengaged, it also does damage. And at 750 at the 8-minute mark, which means Regidrago was here. And it's being ripped to shreds by each team's ranged attacker. Talonflame is taking that moment to dive off the back line, and it successfully gets Miraidon and Crustle to boot. Man, Vaporeon got shotgunned by Glaceon there. That's a lot of damage. It is 5 seconds until the 720Bs have spawned. Teams will be competing once again. But Choke up top is going to be able to pretty much out-secure that Crustle there from all the farm. Now without taking damage. Back at the bottom, they are just completely outraged here. Due to Glaceon and Miraidon. This is going to be this is a tough matchup here. Towards the top, we have a level 8 Machoke fighting the good fight here, and is pretty much winning here. Have to go back in. Missed a submission on the Mimikyu. It's gonna have to back off here. Almost gets KO'd by the Rock Tomb. Gonna have to let that one go. Just like Experimental had to let go of the Regieleki here. That'll actually make it in to make that goal defenseless. They got a lot of DPS pecking away at this Regieleki's health here. But while they're distracted over here, back towards the top, we now have him a champ, and he's pissed. Down goes Mimikyu. Down goes Crustle. Double KO here. They're gonna get a big overcap with the 40 points from Machamp. He has earned it. Followed by another score on Talonflame, another 40. Talonflame ulting right into that Rock Tomb. Couldn't go as far as it would like, but it's able to make a clean getaway. Back at the bottom, there's a lot of farm on the table. Right outside of want, it's level 9 very soon. There's that charge beam. And there's the level 9. They can make a play here for bottom. There's the Rock Tomb. Someone's trapped. Rhino activated passing at that spot to give the team a damage boost. Though I would have liked to have seen it activated closer to the enemy pad to make it weakened with health and shield. KO on the Crustle there, and Mimikyu should follow suit. Crustle coming back in towards the bottom pad, ready to defend his home. Mimikyu trying to get some farm here. Re-establish its ult. Right on. Going to the secondary pad to get more healing. They have Blissey heading down to support their team. Blake's getting major entry damage onto that Machamp. Who's going to secure this objective? It is Talonflame with a dive bomb. But it's going to go down for its troubles from Glaceon. Russell has ulted, but he can't be on top of anybody. He's being severely outranged. He's going to have to back up here. Getting stuffed out by the Muddy Water from Vaporeon. There's the Machamp ult on Glaceon. Regieleki is going to be able to walk in. Have to do some math here. That's the... Well, Machamp could have scored for more points, but... 9 points. I'll forgive it this one time. Hopefully they won't be down by 9 points at the end of this. MQ has finished securing, but he won't be able to pour that for free. Got suplex for his troubles. As it should be. Reggie Draco has spawned once again. Russell is in deep trouble. All that health for 7 points. Almost got KO'd outright. Glaceon is alone here. And there is the mark for death submission. A champ with a cross chop kill. The champ has been such a heavy hitter this entire set, no matter what team it is on. The mission is just that good. It's level 13, and now it's getting cross chop stacks, increasing its attack by 3 for every basic attack it lands on farm or opponents. Back at the bottom, we have a Raichu once again pestering this poor Crustle. It just wants to score, man. Let it go. Oh, we got Vaporeon trying to score in a flurry. It's gonna be able to flip turn away here. We're gonna have Raichu and friends secure this Regieleki one more time, forcing an option out of experimental. There is the gravity. Don't want anyone to dive in quite yet. Looks like they're gonna let that Regieleki go. Oh, someone is overextended. The fight has begun already. There goes the champ ult, whipping a bit there. Major damage on, oh man, Vaporeon and Clefable go down. But now without Crustle and Mimikyu and Glaceon going down, Machamp and Raichu are super low, so is Talonflame. They're just gonna have to back off here. They had the lead. Oh wait, Talonflame going for a risky backup? No, he's just getting some farm here. Actual Trash is in a very comfortable lead by 200 points, basically. They don't have to force an engage on ground on. It's up to Experimental to do so. They have 1 more minute and only 1 ult to spare. They're gonna go for the rip here, forcing an engage. And Champ is going in for a suplex. They won't have help from this Blissey for secure. Play was just a little too slow to secure here. Glaceon has secured it, but Mimikyu has got a punish game on Chansey here. Sorry, on Clefable. Experimental getting that objective means bad news for Actual Trash. Experimental needs 1 more goal. Yep, they're up by 1. That should do it here. There's 30 more seconds and only 1 Pokemon left to make a final stand. And it is Clefable. Oh dear. Yep, that should do it. That should do it even harder. There is no more time to rally. We have Experimental, the winners of this set. 3-1. Yep, Actual Trash just couldn't get towards that back line to actually do anything meaningful to stop that rep / secure. They were just outranged. Couldn't get there in time. Final score is 279 to 276. We have Protagonist once again, the MVP of not only this game, but in my mind, this set. 166 points scored. 6 KOs, 4 assists, 87 overall MVP rating, and decent damage to boot. Over 54,000 damage dealt. I would also like to point out the damage dealt for Miraidon. Consistent, sustainable damage. That is very important. That is constant pressure applied against Actual Trash. And it added up to this dub. Good stuff here. What a wonderful game here. GTs to both sides. Let's see if we can get an interview here. Welcome, welcome. We got Jade here representing Experimental, the winners of this set. How are you doing, Jade? How you feeling?
Doing great. I hope everyone's doing great too.
Yes, we are. It's another day tonight. Why wouldn't we be doing great?
I mean, it's a Sunday, so I mean.
Hey, that didn't stop you guys from getting a dub here, 3-1. It was a very competitive set, game after game. Let's talk about that a little bit. How are you and your team feeling?
Honestly, pretty good. Pretty good. We've been improving since throughout the weeks, throughout the scrims, and all that fun stuff.
I see it. I definitely see it. You guys have your head in the game when it comes to these objectives. Every Kyogre fight. Let's talk about this last Kyogre fight a little bit here. You guys initially lost the team fight, but you guys came back and actually managed to secure it. Let's talk about that a little bit. What were you guys feeling during that Kyogre fight?
Well, because the thing was when we were fighting the Kyogre and then we lost, we noticed that we had more rip. So might as well, we rip it, see what happens, whatever happens, happens. And then if they get it, we just go for kills. If we get it, we just go for scores. It was just more of, what, once we get there, we start ripping, and then whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, good stuff. You guys had a game plan. You guys had the branching paths already figured out. If A happens, then you do B and C. If B happens, you do E and F. Good stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So I do notice some bans here. You guys ended up. Were you guys the one who ended up banning Mimikyu earlier in the set? I noticed that you were able to get Mimikyu this time around.
So,
any thoughts on that?
The first game we were banning Mimikyu because Mimikyu has always been good.
Yep.
And then once we realized that, Umbreon started being a problem again, especially now with the patches now, the recent patch, Umbreon's even more of a problem. So might as well try to get that out of the way. That'll leave us more wiggle room to play Thrustle, play Snorlax, play Wigglytuff if we wanted to. It kind of frees up a lot of the field.
Yeah, the Mon pool. Yeah, good stuff. I did notice that initially you guys were leaning on Vaporeon as your defender / supporter, and when the actual trash took that for themselves, or some of the mindset you guys had like going into draft further from that point.
Well, because we know how strong Vaporeon is when it comes to the damage and the early game stuff. So we wanted to play around the fact that we also wanted to play early game stuff to try to match it, if not like out secure it. Make sure it stall its time to be Vaporeon.
Mm-hmm.
Because Vaporeon's already strong, especially at level 1 and 3. Gets stronger at 4, gets really strong at 6. And then it just gets, you know, like, even more of a problem as the game goes on.
It's always relevant in like all phases of the game. That's how strong that mon is.
That's how all evolutions are.
Yep. So yeah, you guys neutralized it pretty well from what I could gather. Good stuff there. So I do notice that they had a Machamp. And that Machamp was scary. What was some of the thought process when dealing with that Machamp? It was just running off submission, so it kind of like it just marked someone for death. So like, what was the game plan when dealing with Machamp? I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
So for me, I know because since, you know, like our jungler like played mons that like either this like misdirects the submission and completely ignores the submission, the Machamp's next target's going to be me. So I decided to run full heal for that reason. And that's also kind of why I went Electro Drift in the second game, or I guess third game actually.
Yeah.
And then I went full heal again after seeing the Machamp. And then it also kind of baited them to run Gravity Clef while I just swap over to Charge Beam.
Nice. You guys kind of forced their hand there. Good stuff. Like you guys know what you're doing. Well, I like to congratulate you guys on a job well done. You guys won the set 3-1. Not without difficulty though, but good stuff no matter what. This match will be published very soon on the channel, as you guys know. And we'll leave a link to it in the VODs when it's up. It will be up. That's for everyone to know. You guys as well as the chat. And yeah, thanks once again for sliding through this interview. Always great to cast your guys' game. I look forward to it every time and look forward to your future games.
Appreciate it.
All right, that is all the time we have today. Thanks for stopping by for this Lotus League match of actual trash versus experimental. Experimental are the champions today. Yeah, you guys have a good one and GG's. Have a good night.